Hi, my name is Rich. I use the he, him pronouns, and you're watching my YouTube channel where I play amazing tabletop role-playing games with friends. This is part of Star Wars Sundays because we're playing on a Sunday where I run for the Gauntlet variety of different RPGs set in the galaxy of Star Wars. None of them officially licensed, all of them generally made for other things, but it's fun. We are kicking off a 3-session series of Gravity RIP. Gravity RIP is a game about anti-gravity racers by Luke Westway. It's a really cool game that I have read but never played, so we will be working through this together. I've hacked it for Star Wars only in saying that the RIP racers are pod racers. That's really it. That's the only reskinning I did. This game is pretty good for a spacefaring, exciting space opera type of setting. Now, speaking of setting, a few little caveats. This is taking place a year and a half or so after Palpatine, Emperor Palpatine, Emperor Sheev Palpatine, because I got to get in that first name, which is canon and always tickles me. Sheev has died, and if you're like, wait, he's died a couple times, I'll say the first time officially, so at the end of Return of the Jedi, we're about a year and a half. Now, if you're watching Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, those actually take place 5 years. So we're somewhere in the middle. The Empire has been defeated in a lot of the core worlds, but there is a particular area known as the warlords in basically the empire of one former Moth named Zinj. And Warlord Zinj declared himself a warlord of the Empire, refused to say that the New Republic was in charge, and he has held on to a pretty good chunk of the galaxy that starts from the part of the core and bleeds all the way out to the outer rim. He has the planet where he is from is under his control, and is his capital planet is known as Sereno, Serenno. And Sereno is where this game will take place, or at least that's where we start off. The capital city of the planet is known as Karania City. It is a very high-tech, but also cyberpunk kind of place. So while Sereno is ostensibly the capital planet of the Empire, Warlord Zinj has focused most of his efforts on making sure that the border of the Empire stays secure. He has put a great deal of his mental effort on the fleet, the Imperial fleet as it remains, which means the control of Sereno is effectively, it's under the control of the corporations that have a great deal of power here. So occasionally, a legion of stormtroopers might show up, but it's extremely rare. Mostly it is corporate securities that take care of Krania City in particular. We have a number of corporates or megacorps, media group, food producer known as Ping. Ping Cola is the stuff. I'm not drinking Diet Pepsi. I'm drinking Ping Cola, friends, because I'm giving in to the Ping. Osiris. Osiris is memory storage databases. And then Yin Group is this settings Uber. Like they handle shipping and courier services, travel. And if it moves, they're going to take care of it. There are a number of other megacorps. Those are the ones that we have defined at this point. There is within the city a place called Block 13 that is, think Judge Dredd, like mega blocks, where it is these apartment towers that are 100 stories, with atriums between those towers and bridges as well. So this is where the majority of the populace that isn't lucky enough to be an executive working for the megacorps where they live. And Block 13 is infested with a number of troublesome folks. Worse than that, though, is the Hive. The Hive is the only place that, remember, this is the Empire, and Rich quickly goes over to double check something here on safety and roller. Okay, so we got some ask first on racism and speciesism. I just want to check, is everyone cool with the idea that the slave races, and we can define that however we want, but generally Wookiees, Twi'leks, that kind of thing, that there's only a particular area that they live in, or is that that apartheid feel a little too, is anyone not comfortable with that? Or, and if you want to say something in chat because you don't want it recorded, that's totally cool too. If you're okay with it, just pop it in chat, and if you want to talk it out or anything like that, we can pause the recording. Darren? Okay, cool. Thanks, everybody. So yes, the Hive is where a lot of the slave races can be found. It's also the home of a number of gangs like 66 Circle, the Razor Girls, the White Rabbits, and the Hat Red Gang. As an aside, the Hat Red Gang, I totally stole from an old Shadowrun game that a friend ran. I tell you this story mostly because it tickles me. The Hat Red Gang originally started as the Hatred Gang, but over a generation or so of poor literacy, it became the Hat Red Gang. So this does predate anything that's happened politically in America over the last, say, few years. The Hat Red Gang is not a statement about modern. That's the other reason that I tell the story. It is they wear red hats because one of the gang members couldn't spell hatred or put a space in it. Or maybe it was just, it could have been kerning. We don't know, but it happened. Problem of kerning. I'm glad you got that. It is a super nerdy joke.
It's in the history of kerning. You understand this?
Yes.
Major historical turning points, caused by typography.
There's a case study in a particular font archaeology about the Hat Rats. All right. Anyway, that's a whole lot of background. I apologize. I got into it. We do have safety tools, friends. It's important. Everybody should have safety tools. That's why I checked in about the whole slave races mentality. And if you're like, what do you mean by slave races? According to the Empire, there were particular species, intelligent species, that were officially allowed to become slaves, such as the Wookiee and Twi'leks. It's very gross, but this is also the Empire thing we want to fight against. And we have lines, veils, and ask first. So those things will be defined out. I do always reorder it. I just hadn't gotten to it right now. I'm going to reorder the lines, veils, and ask first right now. Thank you for the reminder. It just takes me a second if I actually do it. And now it is done. All right, there we go. Cool. So let's take a moment to meet for the first time, have everybody introduce themselves and tell us a bit about their pod racer. The game itself is light on mechanics. For representing a person, you have one stat. It is called your chaos theory stat. The lower number, it's a number between 2 to 5. So everybody's kind of tight within because it's a single die roll, or it can be 2 dice if you have reputation. We'll talk about that in just a minute. The lower the number, the more analytical your racer is. The higher the number, the more chaotic or impulsive your racer is. We're going to start from the right-hand side of our character keeper, heading towards the left. So, Stephen, if you could introduce yourself and tell us about your character.
Sure thing. My name is Stephen. My pronouns are he, him. Today I'm playing Nedic Kez, who whose pronouns are she, her. Nedic is a Jawa, and while she was, of course, scavenging with the rest of her clan, she found an old pod racing engine and was able to get it running, and it took off, and she just hung on for dear life. And that was enough to get that taste for speed. And she's been repairing and putting together her own racers and driving them since then. So she's been around the block a little bit. She's also so she's put together like a vocoder, so that those who don't speak Jawa can kind of understand her. It doesn't work great, it might mistranslate a few things or it might buzz on some things, but yeah, otherwise she can be understood by those who don't speak her language natively. Yep.
Question about Nedic. Is Nedic a native of Karania City, or is she an immigrant, like a refugee who came here? What do you
I think she
imagine?
came here. I think she's originally like from Tatooine.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Came on a space crawler of some
Yeah.
kind, or
I figure she probably came specifically because of the pod racing. She probably hits the circuit, trying to figure out, where the challenge is.
oh, nice. So she's done the pod race on Tatooine already. Like that might be where she could be known from.
Yeah. So she's definitely done the pod race on Tatooine. That's where she found the remnants originally, because somebody had just crashed and just left it out in the desert. And but I can't say that she was very good on Tatooine. She didn't really place, so she just had to build up her skills. So she kind of went back to the beginning, to the beginners races before she could graduate back up. Yeah.
Very, 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 very quick aside, but there's a particular moment in Book of Boba Fett where a character goes through Beggar's Canyon and follows along part of the pod racing, and there's still wreckage from 30 years ago. That tickled me when someone pointed that out. I was like, oh, that is some detail. Cool. And that totally works within the Nedic setup. I like that a lot. Let's say, so for reputation, at the start of each game, your reputation is that you're a newbie, right? Because you haven't done anything. Because we have 4 players, Steven, I'd like to say that your reputation, if you want it to be something along the lines of from Tatooine, or you raced on the Tatooine pod racing circuit, feel free. Now, what the reputation means is if you can work, if you're headed towards a role and you can work in that reputation as part of you trying to get what you want, you get to roll with advantage, meaning you get to roll 2d6. Now, your reputation is only as good as the last race. So once we do a race later in this session, however you do in that race will be your new reputation. But we'll start off with that. Does that sound okay, Stephen?
Yeah, that sounds great. And I don't think I want to start with any reputation. I think that Nedic is full of herself and, goes around and says, oh, I'm a veteran and all of that. But she's not been heard of here.
Okay. Well, you have some kind of reputation. So maybe it could be like, who knows, whatever you want to work
or something like that.
Absolutely. It could be totally that. And then the last thing I'll ask you, Stephen, before we move on, is if you would take a look in the NPCs and places. On the top row are racers, or I will now retitle it just so it's more clear, rival racers. And take a look at those and see if there's 1 or 2 that you might be interested in having as a rival, and perhaps a reason why. I'll come back to you on that. I just want to give you an assignment. So, okay. Greg, I do believe you are next. If you could introduce yourself and tell us about your character.
Hello, everyone. I'm Greg. I use he, him pronouns. I am going to be playing Truss. He also uses he, him pronouns. Truss is an armored Ithorian. Ithorians are the hammerhead species, most recently seen in the Book of Boba Fett as the mayor. But he wears this almost armored spacesuit all the time, because it's probably somewhat like Darth Vader and he needs it to breathe. And the suit also gives him the reflexes. Ithorians are a slow-moving race, typically of gardeners on their little forest ships. So Despite being on the more calculating side of this current arrangement of racers, Truss is definitely seen by members of his family as the absolute wild child.
You're so middle of the road that it's just too chaotic for us.
It's just too chaotic. And he actually races the Morning Flower. The Morning Flower is a bit different than other pod racers. It's been passed down for many generations. I expect it was like super early pod racing, kind of feeding off of Count Dooku's sail ship at the end of the prequels. The Morning Flower has these large sails that move and flex with the racer to make tight corners and stuff. And at times that's been considered illegal, and other times it's been seen as a disadvantage. And I originally had kind of built the Morning Flower as a middle of the road racer, but I've decided that the Morning Flower is all about speed, because I was sort of describing a fragile, fast thing and not using those as stats. So I've adjusted that. And Truss is sort of all about the speed.
Wow. 3 acceleration, -1 weight. Your integrity is 7. This is a pod racer that if she can keep it, if you can keep her on the track, it'll be good. Awesome. That's awesome. Cool. And as a certified antique, I would imagine it's really hard getting replacement parts for her when she breaks. All right.
Yeah. Need to keep the Morning Flower away from Nedic, I'm sure. And I put it in there. It requires an even more skilled mechanic. So there's probably going to be some maybe garbage bot is involved.
Yes, GB. It's got a side gig being that's great. Do you imagine this Thorian Truss is Truss a native to Karane City or also a immigrant / refugee?
So Truss is taking over this racer from taking over the Morning Flower from some other racer, perhaps someone who has quit. So I think he's new to the circuit, and he's new to the racer, and I think he's probably come here from off world for the race. Maybe I like it like there was Truss has taken over like a contract. The previous racer was supposed to be the one doing this race on Karania City, with the Morning Flower. Like the actual pod racer is the part that's been contracted. And when Truss took over ownership of it, now he's contracted to race in this race, possibly a little bit before he's prepared to do so.
Oh, that's fascinating. Did he take it over from another Thorian? Did he take it over from a non-Thorian?
I think I took it over from a non-Thorian.
So if he didn't buy it to be in a pod race, why did he buy himself a pod racer?
Well, I think he was planning to, maybe do some test laps with it before.
Gotcha. So he did want to
have more time, but suddenly it's been contracted. Didn't want to be certainly wanted to be a pod racer. Okay. I'm thinking maybe I'm looking at the NPCs. Should I tie it into the 66 circle?
You certainly can.
I think I was sold it by Kefir Daring. She is a truly loathsome being, is the entire description for her.
It's the whole thing. I love it. So Kefir, she sold you.
Me, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think she was the racer. Maybe the racer is not disclosed, but she sold it to me, and then that has obligated me to come here to the
That's great. Very good. Very good. Yay, Kefir. The loathsome being. Oh man. She's gonna be fun. That's awesome. Good work, Greg. And if you could also look along that top row and see if there are a couple different NPCs that you could work in as a rival. We're now going to move further to the left. It is time, Brandon, if you could introduce yourself and tell us about your character. I see more and more background appearing on the
Well,
character as we
that's
go.
because you're giving world background, so I'm filling it in. Thorn, only name she ever goes by. She, he, they. She's adaptable according to whatever relationship she's in, but I'll default her to she sometimes. Thorn was a human who was in a long-term indenture, long-term oppressive indenture, basically sold into it by her parents in order for reasons of their own. Who bought her freedom by agreeing to have a modified Everson symbiote implanted in her brain. These are things that normally eat your spinal cord. This one was tampered with in the laboratory because they were trying to find an effective symbiosis, but they still didn't have the kinks worked out of it, so they needed an experimental subject or 3. It hasn't killed her yet, but she figures that it could anytime, and so life is for living. The symbiote drives her into impulsive behavior, but also gives her some incredible perception and empathy, especially with races that most others find very difficult to read or understand. She picks up on them and has had relationships with some of them. Anyone with medical knowledge would recognize her head scars as being brain surgery of some sort. She was, and still technically is, a Razor Girl. One of the Razor Girls, probably Riddle, has it in for her on that because some of them think that she's basically an outcast for having become an independent racer, because she's not on the race. She's not, on. Yeah, I don't know if the Racer Girls have a team, but she's not on any of their team. But she still has the crazy souped up speeder bike. Think a land speeder that's a chopper, and a vibro blade strapped to her thigh most times. Her racer is this beautiful thing called Adrenaline, which was created by the genius Varan Dor and exhibited as a work of art. More than anything else. Some people consider that it is better a work of art than a sane racer of any kind, because of the fact that its power source is not necessarily the most stable and it's right underneath the pilot company. Because streamlining demanded that it be there. It would have spoiled the lines, he said, to put it in back. Thorin stole Adrenaline after having a torrid affair with the designer, who for reasons of their own didn't call the authorities.
Very interesting. So what species were you imagining for Torindor?
Vorndor, I'll give it to you.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, since you did, then I'm gonna consider it for a minute. But my default since you said Thorn has the ability to understand people that can't always speak basic, could be like a Wookiee. That would be wild.
Well, Vorndor is at least he designed this craft, so it has to be somebody with at least a little bit of an engineering bent.
Yeah.
Other than so, Wookiee'd be fine.
Awesome. Oh, what pronouns do you imagine for Torindor?
For Vorndor?
Yeah, Vorindor, sorry.
Vorndor, go ahead and pick.
Okay.
I'm giving it to you. I'll give you the pronoun.
All right, cool. We'll say it's Torindor is a female Wookiee. That sounds fun. And Wookiees can definitely be engineers. I mean, Chewbacca kept the Millennium Falcon together. So there we
Absolutely.
go. That sounds fun.
So the Adrenaline is recognizable as Vorndor's piece because it was exhibited as such. it was probably, written up in the the local vid thing at one point.
The popular mechanics type.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's just
like
like, or maybe it was, if there's a museum of art somewhere around, maybe it was briefly in the rotating thing as engineering design, because it's gorgeous. You know, uh,
I like
as I
that.
said, which caused some people to underestimate how powerful a razor it is.
It is. It's got just a little bit more weight than the morning flower. That is a really slick design that you picked. I like that a lot. Sounds like you already have a lead on your rival. Are you angling towards Riddle?
Riddle's got to be the rival. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good.
She's been jealous of Thorn since Thorn joined the gang, and she's carrying that out onto the pod racing.
Sounds good. Sounds good. All right. That sounds really good. Let's jump over to our last, but certainly not least, Darren. If you could introduce yourself and tell us about your character.
Hello, I'm Darren, he, him, and I'm playing Jad, he, him. Jad is a Duras, or is that how you say that? I don't know if I've heard it pronounced.
That's funny. I have always gone with a long O, but I don't think I've ever heard it officially pronounced within Star Wars. So
Duros. Okay. And he grew up on Tatooine and was a pod racing fan, and wanted to be a pod racer. He has a bit of a gambling problem, and he actually got his racer of unknown origin. He bought it after he won a large bet. Unfortunately, he didn't win any bets after that and started accumulating a large debt. So that is why he got off of Tatooine. And this was kind of the place that he could get passage to. So with his pod, I was thinking about NPCs, and I think he's definitely got a beef with Langa, because she caught wind of his debt issues from the past and kind of froze him out of the card games in town that he knows about. And tell me if you think this one is okay. I was thinking that he maybe has a rivalry with Pollux, because they are both trying to become sponsored by, and I cannot remember the name of the company you said.
Oh, it's under the, I'm sorry, I should have said, it's all under the Karania City. So Ping,
there we go. Okay.
All right.
Life in Karania City, Fort Porter.
Megacorp's on the left-hand side there.
There we go.
With cool little pictures.
Oh, Yen Group. I'm sorry, that was it.
Oh, cool. Okay. So
Pollux
is I like it. All right. So we've got Pollux as your rival, and we're going to slide back around. We know that the rival for Thorn is Riddle. So now we get to our Athorian.
I was going to go for is it Amina Klikto?
Yeah, it is now.
Doros. I think so she's got kind of the opposite kind of racer as me. And I think on some sort of like qualifying round where we weren't supposed to be doing anything aggressive at all, she kind of saw me as the new racer and has already, maybe dinged up the morning flower.
That's great. Yeah. So Mina does not like you at all.
Oh, I've got a quick question. I'm sorry.
No problems. What's the question?
What is the undo function on the spreadsheet?
Control Z.
Oh, it's not working. Okay.
Okay.
There we go. There
What
we
do you
go.
need? What do you need help with?
Oh, I just accidentally erased my background, but I got it back.
Oh, good. If it's like super important, let me know. We can go into versions and we
Okay.
will do our best to bring things back for you. All right. So we have rivals for 3 of our 4. And we now come to our Jawa friend.
So my rival is the Tuscan.
Yes. I was hoping you picked the Tuscan.
I'm like, that's not a real Tuscan. I know Tuscans, right? Now, he could still be a Tuscan just from another clan, but I mouth off and I'm like, that's not a real Tuscan, not him.
Perfect. That is great. That makes me so happy. I'd already put the Tuscan. As soon as you said you were a Jawa, I'm like, oh, please, you are good. Medic. Just got to think of medic, and there we go. Cool. I'm going to move Kosh out of our rival area into the NPCs. And I'll do the same thing with Court, although Court already existed in an area, so I'll just delete her from the rivals row. Now we got all our stuff organized. There we go. Good stuff. Okay. So the way that the play proceeds is that we start with story mode and then we head towards racing mode. And then there are 2 phases within the racing mode. My plan is for us to take our mid-game break here. Seems like the best time because we've got all the characters introduced. We'll come back and introduce your characters in story mode and migrate towards racing mode and then run through a race. So I'll pause here. Okay. We return from our break immediately into story mode. Let's see. I think it would be fun to start off with Truss. So often in the game, it says that often story mode, GM sets the scene, starting the narrative in the garage, but I am curious in learning a little bit about where Truss calls home, or where he's currently staying. Karania City tab has the breakdown of the quarters or main areas where a lot of people live in Karania City. Where is it that Truss is staying right now?
Where does 66 Circle stay?
Oh, they're in the Hive.
They're in the Hive. Okay, so I think Truss is also in the Hive with them. I think this is he, as part of purchasing it, they were like, oh, there's an accommodation for you. You're going to be, our racer. They're probably, if Truss thought it through, they might be, using this as some sort of betting scheme with their true racer, Tuscan, right? They're probably setting Truss up for failure as some sort of, betting scheme to make money off of him. But he's ignorant to that.
They probably told him that you guys are a team.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we're totally a team. Yeah, totally. The Tuscan's on my side. He's been really nice to me. Just really quiet, which is kind of what Truss prefers. In the Hive, it's not a glamorous accommodation in any way, but Truss is starting to make it his own. He's found a couple little seedlings of something to grow on the windowsill that he's carefully tending.
Oh, that's so adorable. He's kind of innocent in a weird way, isn't he?
A little bit, yeah.
I imagine that Circle has set you up. 66 Circle set you up in a place that they is right above their go bar, so it's constantly, there's no way to sleep at night because it's so
Yeah.
loud underneath. But yeah, you do have a window, and it gets sun. So there you go. That's, I guess. All
And at
you-
night, the artificial lights are just, they're enough.
Are they though? Cool. So when you get up in the, are you? Yeah. I imagine that it's race day, and so a number of Order 66s come around the bar, and they're toasting in your name. Like they're gonna, Tuscan, of course, never removes his Tuscan mask. He just kind of pulls it
Right.
out a little bit, and oh no, he has like this long tube straw thing. Yeah, I like that. That is bizarre and silly. So that is how he imbibes. And you're in your like encounter suit, for lack of a better term.
Mm-hmm.
How are you handling the fact that it seems like Kiefer is trying to, darling, trust you need to get a little, a little edge off your race better, darling. She kind of rubs along the metal of your carapace there and offers you some type of grog or poison based on who's rating it.
Truss will take the drink. I imagine it's a very large drink. And sits down next to the Tuscan, and is trying to figure out whether or not the Tuscan's also drinking the same thing. Like, is this a tradition? I'm not sure about racing. Am I supposed to drink this? Is this going to help?
Ooh, nice. I think you're trying to be analytical here.
A little
So
bit.
we're going to call
Sure.
our first roll. So this will be a theory check. You're going to roll a d6. If you roll higher than your number, you succeed. If you roll lower, you fail. Now, the question is, do you feel like being a newbie, is that reputation is an important part of this role? I could see it, but I wanted to.
No, I don't. I don't. I'm not leveraging it against somebody else, right?
Okay.
I'm just trying to figure out. Yeah. All right. So 3, 4, 5, 6, right?
Mhm.
Well, that's a 2. So.
Wow, you had a really good shot there. If you rolled higher than your number, which was a 3, and you did not. So in your failure, yeah, it's totally the same drink. Why would they give you
Excellent.
something different? It's the same kind of brackish color. So obviously.
So yeah, Truss will open. There's like a tube on one of his arm things, and that like goes to a tank on his back that he can drink out of. So he's like slurping this drink and talking to the Tuscan. I'm just a little anxious this morning. It's my first real race.
And the Tuscan laughs this slightly mechanical laughter, but it doesn't seem derisive. It seems pleasant, like he's laughing with you. It's friendly. The Tuscan also, for some reason, like you see after images of the Tuscan, and the Tuscan seems to just sway back and forth between the 3 after images, moving in front of your eyes. And he says, "Don't worry, Truss. We will work together and defeat all of them. But remember, the Jawa is mine."
Of course. I'll get Mina. I'll get Mina too.
And Kiefer says, "Oh yes, of course you will, darling. I have money riding on it. You better get Mina. Remember, you're new. The chances of you being able to win are infinitesimally small, but if you can take out your rival, I'll throw a few credits your way, darling."
I just have to go fast. And like the little apertures on the suit are kind of blinking with the Thorian eyeballs behind, and it is not kind of in sync anymore.
Yeah, you are inebriated. That is cool. Is there anything more you wanted from this scene?
No. Do we need to spell out exactly what the goal is for the race for Truss?
We can do that. Let's do that. So if you accept what Kiefer is throwing your way, she's saying, take Mina out, and I'll no matter how you finish, I'll throw 500 credits your way.
Okay, so take out Mina.
Mhm. She's got some kind of prop bet on grudge matches going.
Gotcha.
Cool. Is there anything more you wanted from the scene?
No, I'm good.
All right. Let us jump over to Thorn. Thorn, where is it that you stay? Do you stay in the hive because that's where the rest of the Razor girls are, or do you stay somewhere else? Oh, you're talking on mute, Brandon.
I stay in the hive between relationships. Otherwise, I tend to be at the apartment of whoever it is that I'm, that I'm having it off with at the time. And she tends to go after creative types. Number one, Doris was not typical. She feels like she doesn't have a bone of creativity in her, so she finds them fast. She finds people who actually make things, figure things out to be fascinating.
Nice.
And they are defenseless against her for the most part. So you want to pick one?
Oh man, you are. I'll Greg. Should Thorn currently be in some kind of weird relationship with Block Doc, or is that too much? You tell me. It's so hard to resist the temptation.
That's such a stretch of the creative type.
Yeah. Block Doc's in the NPCs on row 17. Take a look. He is the most skilled plastic surgeon in all of Block 13. He's the only plastic surgeon in Block 13. He definitely considers himself an artist. I don't know. Would you, is that too weird? Still looking for him?
It's not too weird for me.
All right.
Dorn has had relationships with Gamorreans before. I mean, she's,
Wow, she's very open-minded then. That's cool.
Well, it's the implant.
It's the implant.
The implant drives her to new experiences. It's some people think she's just crazy, but then she's a racer, so that kind of overlaps.
I mean, yeah, that's the default mode for anyone to be a pod racer. I think we pick up with the stark white of some kind of, like you have at a dentist office or a doctor's office, that type of very, very bright white, no shadows. And we see that Thorn, I don't know why you're in this particular room, but the Block Doc is looking over some, like he throws up from a data pad onto the wall. He's looking at some kind of skeletal layout. And you see, what we can do is completely remove all of the teeth and place in some kind of dermatitic construct. I think it will allow for something truly magical. What do you think, darling?
She kind of runs her hands over the hollow thing as if it was solid. And she goes, you got to build out the forehead just a little bit.
That's
Otherwise the bite will look funny. But
That's my girl. I love your consultations. It may take 2 or 3 tries to get this absolutely right, but you know, when they're not paying for it, what can they expect, of course? Soon we'll have extra mandibles, perhaps 3 or 4 pairs. It will be demonic. Don't you have a race today?
sometime I say, my my monitor hasn't beeped. I'm not on deck yet. Anyway, what you're saying, you're crazy, Tom. I like that.
He comes over and I think he like runs a hand, and you notice he's trying out a new 6th finger. So he's like implanted this greenish finger. It doesn't fit the rest of his hand, but he runs it across the side of your face. He says,
I turn and I gently bite his extra finger.
"Oh, Ben! Yes, I can feel it. That's wonderful. You know, there's so many things that I wish I could do to you, but you're already such perfection. It'd be a shame, Thorn, to ruin what they've done to you."
You mean to ruin the death parasite they put in me that's attached to my spinal cord? I don't think even you could get that out, though. It wouldn't let you anyway.
Who are they to say what we can and can't do? You know, if you give me enough credits, perhaps I can figure out a way to extricate that thing. Of course, I'd want to place it in someone else.
You don't understand, Doc. It doesn't want to come out. And when threatened. And she's got a vibroblade in her hand.
Oh, nice.
Like it's just appeared there during this conversation. She says when threatened, it has a way of making a point. Like now. But it feels amazing. That's what they don't tell you. That before these things kill you, they make you feel great. It must be some evolutionary adaptation to prevent the victim from fighting back too hard.
Now I'm curious, did they tell you if it dies in the process, or can it be extracted once you've become a corpse? I'm just curious, darling.
Hey, Doc, tell you what. You've got my permission to carve me up after I'm dead, but not a microsecond before. Not unless you want to be doing plastic surgery on your own midsection.
And I think at that point, maybe you get a chime that as a reminder that it is actually a race day. And what do you do? Going to work on the mandibles now, but I'll be watching you on the HoloNet. You know I'm pulling for you, darling.
Hey, well, I might win. Everybody else out there has something to live for.
Is there anything I could do for you, or more to the point, to you, to help you be a little stronger, a little better, or is it only mechanical that matters?
I'd ask you to, if I were a regular person, I'd ask you to juice me, but I don't know that it would even work with the implant. Probably just fuck everything up. So just fuck me.
Do we fade to black at that
We
point?
fade to black at that point.
All right. With the block dock, it is bleary, but somehow
Yeah, I don't.
clear
And she
eyes.
doesn't. Thorn does not let go of vibroblade during this entire thing.
Oh, that's pretty wild. Okay,
Right.
cool. Thank you. Let's jump on over to Jad Cod. Where does Jad stay in the city? What's his setup like?
I was thinking maybe he got a deal on an apartment in the poor quarter. It's like a shack that sells like those dried lizards that Sebulba ate in episode 1, something like that.
Nice.
And yeah, so I was thinking maybe his business of the day was meeting with like a really low level marketing person from Yen Corp, who her like, you know, pet project is getting a pod racer to sponsor.
Oh man, that's awesome. So I'm going to give a bit of information that you, Darren, know, and then you can decide if Jad knows it. I'm perfectly
Okay.
happy if he's aware of this. Ping is currently pulling himself out from under a PR debacle where it was proven, of course they say in quotes, it was proven that there were several batches of Ping Cola that were being made with sewer water as the water for the base of the cola. And of course, there have been a few studies that have been released showing that it was first it was not sewer water, then there was other proof, and that person was doxxed. So there was a new study that the sewer water was treated water and reconstituted water, and now they're just trying to whatever. They're throwing everything against the wall, trying to get something to stick right now. And so the tank, it's tanking. The stock is tanking. So I don't know how much of that Jad's aware of. Historically, Ping has been the only cola, but now she's in a bit of trouble.
Oh, okay. So am I meeting with someone from Ping Cola?
You're trying to meet with someone in Yen Group, but I wanted you to know that information about Ping Cola because she's in a collaboration that she's about to pitch you right now.
Okay.
Cool. So let's come up with a nice corporate name for our individual sales I think we're gonna go with Arani as her first name, but I think she has some kind of Ping branded nickname. Does anyone have any ideas of a Ping or Cola branded nickname that she could have?
Fizz or Fizzy?
Oh, Fizz is pretty good.
I like Fizz. Arani Fizz. So you're meeting with Arani Fizz, and maybe she comes down to the lizard shack where you stay, or maybe you know that she comes to this part of the poor quarter during her scheduled lunch hour, and two of you are meeting up. So there's a lot of foot traffic, all kinds of smells of different foods, most of it deep fried, but there are some like whole foods style, more organic food. And she's eating imagine a Twinkie and a hot dog. It's a new thing that Ping's trying to bring up. It's like a meat treat. So she's eating the meat treat, and she says, "Oh, Jad, thanks for meeting with me." Even though you kind of asked for the meeting, she's thanking you. It's a weird corporate speak.
Out of character, I have heard a corn dog referred to as a meat Twinkie.
Oh yeah, so, meat Twinkie.
But yeah, it's good to see you. Yeah, you want to sit down?
Oh, no, no. You don't know what they do to those chairs. Listen, listen.
Okay.
I've got to keep this quick anyway. I've got a couple of other meets. Let me sell you, Jad, on the idea of your racer, your beautiful racer, your amazing racer. I love your racer. It's my favorite. I was thinking
Oh.
about getting some ink of your racer. And I was thinking that if we just got a ping sticker. See, I'm collaborating with Yin and Ping. We're doing some kind of Ying thing. It's a Ying thing. Isn't that good? It tested well. And so if we could maybe put a ping, like it's not yin, but ping related sponsorship on the side of your racer, so that when you pass by all the other racers, they see the ping go through you, right? Because you want ping. That's what I'm thinking. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, that sounds good. It's a good concept.
You like it? She seems surprised that you're into it, but also very excited.
Yeah, I don't know. I could like drink some ping in the, in the garage or something, or I could drink ping while I'm racing or something.
Oh, you've got a future. You've got a real future. Here's what we'll do. Okay. You drink that ping, and then if you can finish in the top 10, we can throw a little remuneration your way. That's corp speak for a few extra credits.
Oh, okay. Top 10. Wow. No, I think
Yeah.
I can do better than that, but sure.
Oh, I'm sure that you can, Jad. I'm sure that you can. Top 10 finish. And as long as you wear that beautiful ping emblazoned sticker on the side of your racer, then there will be an extra 1,000 credits in it for you.
Well, I've got one later today. So is this for the next one or?
Oh yeah, yes, for the next one. She like grabs your shoulder. She's very, very excited. I will send someone to the garage and we'll have that placed on right away. And she reaches into her like little purse and she pulls out a ping cola. It hasn't been opened. It's kind of warm. And she hands it. You can drink this one, or you can buy your own. That's fine. If you buy your own, that's fine too. I mean, honestly, as long as we see the can, you can have whatever you want in the ping cola can. As long as the can, you drink the can, make sure the people see the can. Cameras needs to be on holding it. Got it?
No, this will work. I'm from Tatooine, so I like it warm. I drink my cola warm. So.
Oh, that could be a new thing. I have to go. Thank you.
I understand. Yep.
It's great meeting with you, Jad. Thanks for making time for me again. I've got to go. And then she traipses off for another meeting, checking her little comm unit and cross-referencing a pink cola. Try it warm.
Jad just kind of takes a second to take a breather from prostituting himself. Like, oh man, I need the money. I needed that money.
Oh, that's great / terrible. I love it. Good job. Good job. Proud of you. You've got it. You're going to be amazing. Cool. And then I think we're going to end up finding out where our Jawa stays. Where in Karania City is Netic?
Netic sleeps in the garage in her pod racer. I think she's there late doing repairs and juicing it up and everything like that, and then like sleeps in that little, in the seat.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think during the day she's going to get up and she's going to go wander around the what area of town are the garages going to be in?
Oh, that's a great
scattered,
question. No, I think they're all together. Like it's one of those where the garages are together so that they can keep a watchful eye and nobody messes with the racers kind of thing. And then you just move the racers out to the starting part of the track. So if we pick a part of Karania City, I'm thinking that you guys race around in Neon Quarter because it just seems cool, right? Neon Quarter is the place of the nightlife and clubs, bars, adult establishments, all name of the game there.
So I think that while the Neon Quarter's fine, I think that Nedic is going to go out into the rest of the city, and she's like, any of the fancy pants, they're not going to pay that much attention to me. However, if I go off into the Hive or into Block 13, she starts putting up posters, right, of herself as a pod racer, just getting the word out, and she's like equivalently like jumping up and stapling them onto poles and stuff like that, and basically just trying to press the flesh, or shake enough hands, say how great we are, all that kind of stuff.
Nice. Yeah, I'm wondering, do we yeah, I think you do. You can do the thing. Like, it's not like many people in Block 13 are going to give a womp rat shebs about someone putting it's one of those where like it's each pole is plastered with all kinds of stuff, and it's not actual wood, right? Actual wood's worth money. Why would they have actual wood in Block 13? It's a wood-like substance, but there's all kinds of papers and the like that are already put up there, and you're like nailing your poster on top of missing signs, like missing so many days, and there's someone that has posted up a thing of some kind of green creature with these huge ears, and is like want to learn about how to use the force, and you like pull off little comm unit numbers, and there's a few wanted posters like dead or alive that have just been posted on it. You come up and you're posting all this stuff, trying to get your name out there. And I think what happens as you're doing that is that you get the feeling you're being watched. And by the third poll, you definitely recognize that there is a individual who moves really fluidly. She has, like, you can just tell from the body shape and the sway of the hips that it's likely a female. But she has a mask on that just like a single slit for the eye. If you want to head down to 66 Circle on row 21 of the NPCs and places, it's Mon. And Mon has been following you for a bit. What do you do when you realize that she's following? She doesn't have in the main picture of the whole group, she has a big honking blaster carbine that's holstered over her shoulder, so she's probably not going to use it.
Yeah, so basically I'm plastering this up, and I have very little idea about public property versus personal property. So I think I'm actually plastering things up over windows, to shops and places like that, and and I think I get chased out of a few of the shops, and I turn the corner and I kind of hunker down like underneath one of the booths until Mon gets close enough to kind of see where I'm going to go, and then I pop up and I like directly like pull on her robes, and I'm like, and I hand her a poster, and I'm like, you should bet on me, I'm the one.
Oh, and she skips back when you, like, she didn't see you.
You're a fool.
A fast fool, I'll get you. Are you gonna bet? Let's bet.
I'll only bet that you will be destroyed. The Tuscan has your number, little one.
Yeah, I know Tuscans. That's no Tuscan.
What are you saying?
I'm saying it's the pretender. I bet they pretend to pod race too.
I want to see if you can convince her to doubt the Tuscan.
Sounds good.
Now let's see. Are we chaos and theory? I just want to see which would this be? Is it analytical or is it emotional? It feels like it might be chaosy, right? Impulse. Do you feel like you're being analytical or impulsive here?
I think I'm being more impulsive. If I were being analytical, it seems like I would provide proof, and I've done none of that.
Sounds good. I
So
agree.
it sounds
so
kind
roll
of
lower
random.
than your chaos theory number. You've got a 4. So on a 1, 2, or 3, you're good. You got a 50-50 shot. If you
Okay,
roll a 4
so-
exactly, that's like super mega.
So roll a d6.
Sorry. Yes, roll a d6.
No. Yep.
I asked you to roll
So
a
I got a
d10.
3.
That wouldn't be fair. Oh, sweet. So you roll under the chaos number, which means that you are successful. And Mon thinks for a moment.
You're from Tatooine, aren't you? You've seen the Sand People.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And you're saying the Tuscan is lying.
I'm saying that's no Tuscan. Yeah.
What is he?
Well, I haven't seen everything. I've just seen, I know Tuscans.
Hmm.
Why? Do you
Alright.
trust the Tuscan? What's your business with them?
The Tuscan is the racer for 66 Circle. That's my gang.
Oh, gang, that's real serious.
Hmm. What's your gang?
I have a clan. They're back home, but I'm kind of a gang of one here.
That's not a good idea. You should get out of the hive. A gang of one is a gang of dead.
Okay, I'll think about that.
Well, I'm glad you can hide well, at least. I'll see you out on the track, little one.
Yeah, you'll see me there out in front.
She chuckles again and reaches up, and she's going to pat your head. How do you deal with someone just patting your head, which is totally got to be a little
I think I'm
offensive.
fine with that. She can pat my head all she wants, but if she walks away, I'm gonna see if I can slip a poster from my Jawa poster on her back. Right? Like the kick me kind of sign. Yeah.
Yeah, I was getting a kick me sign vibe there. That's hilarious. Yeah, I think you like slip it in her belt and
Oh, that's right.
you get the victory. Yeah, it's like she's between her belt and the back of her carbine over her shoulder. But yeah, she is now a walking advertisement for you and your racing prowess. All right. And yes, I'm gonna make canon a thing that happened in the text chat that one of the windows that Nedic papers over is at the Go Bar where Truss is staying. So it's at the window. We see there's a moment where you put it on the window, and then there's Truss's little plant that he's got, and yeah, that's our crossover in the hive. Cool. Everybody good with story mode? Like feel comfy that you got enough good to take care of what you wanted to do? Awesome.
Should we have have some sort of incentive in the story mode for the race? Because it seems like that's intended.
It does. And I don't think we define
can I
one
have
for
a
Thorn.
No,
Yeah.
so can I have it would make sense to have a brief thing with some of one of the Razor girls, not Riddle.
I could see that. Not Riddle. Okay.
Riddle doesn't like me. That's kind of well established.
Yeah, Riddle's your
we could
rival.
certainly bring that out, but it might be more interesting to see how the rest of the Razor girls feel about the race.
All
Because
right.
Thorn is one.
You're a Razor girl. I think it'll be interesting if Hound catches up to you. So maybe it's like, does Thorn take care of her ride? Like, how does she handle adrenaline?
Handles adrenaline. She's fucking obsessive over it.
Okay.
She's like, oh my god, a bird crapped on it. So where's my blaster? Is the bird still around? Fuck that bird. And then she's gonna, she cleans it off, so it's spotless again. I mean, it's incredibly durable. It's very durable for what it is, but she's
Cool. Okay, that's good to know. Now, the garage, just so everyone has context, the garage itself is big enough to where it's this like cavernous roundabout type space. Is imagine a circular warehouse that has a bunch of garage bays that are set up for each of the pod racers, and you and your engineering or mechanic team can come in, work on it, get things ready. This is also where your pod racer will be inspected, and there's security because this is the megacorp circuit. So it's a big deal, guys. And there is security as you come in. They wand you, they check for obvious weapons, they make sure that droids have restraining bolts, all that good stuff, everything buttoned up. So Thorn, when you're doing some pre-flight checks for adrenaline, I think Hound comes along. Hound's a human. You know that she was a rebel soldier, and when she was left behind enemy lines, like here during an attack, she basically adapted. But you've seen her like Rebel Alliance. She's got the rebel bird as a tat.
Yeah, no, I've remarked. I've remarked on it before. I've told her nice tat. Hey, Hound, looking good.
Hey, this is the prettiest pod racer I've ever seen. I can't believe you're racing it.
Fuck yeah. We're gonna.
Riddle's been talking about you again. I hate it.
She does. She's an asshole.
Why?
You know, she
Why
can't
aren't
stand.
you on our team? The two of you guys should be. You girls should be on the same team. You could just alternate out races. Why do you have to go off on your own?
Because I don't want to race with her. It's like she's made me to feel fucking unwelcome since I came to the Razor Girls, just because.
It's just that way. Don't take it personal.
I don't take it personal. I just hate her. But I love the rest of y'all.
And we love you too.
And it's a race,
We love you too, even though
if Adrenaline wins, it's a win for the Razor Girls, as far as I'm concerned.
I hear you, but listen, I know Riddle's going to come at you hard. But, if you could turn the other cheek, maybe we can get her to back off after a race of you guys not being so heated.
You really think so?
I know you don't care about credits, right? I've got a volt.
No, I don't.
What
am I gonna spend them? when am I gonna spend credits? I could be dead tomorrow.
And she reaches into her pack. She's got like one of those side packs. It probably held some kind of military something, but it doesn't anymore. And she pulls out like say it's like a container that's not glass, it's like plastic steel, but it's see-through, and you see all this energy. You know what this is? It's a volt. So volts are they're worth like 2,000 credits to straight out buy one, but they are also a thing that's really valuable. Like you can swap a volt for an integrity point, which could be super helpful for making sure and she says, if you'll just take it easy on Riddle for one race.
Take it easy meaning not cream her out of the race, or take it easy meaning let her win?
Just don't go at her. Just don't. If she hits you, just let it go.
You really think so?
I really want to try. Okay. Listen, I've been screwed over a bunch of times in my life, and
fuck yeah, you have. Are you kidding?
You have too. You and me both. But this is my family, and I want my family to stop fighting. So if it takes me a volt to make that happen, Riddle will listen to me when I tell her that
you want to give me a volt to help in the race. That's great. But I'm doing this because you asked me to.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Okay.
I'll take I'll take your vote. Might help keep the adrenaline from coming apart. The power plant's a little tricky, but I'm not doing it because you're paying me. And if you want to put that back in the bag, I'll still do it.
And she takes a moment, like even considers it, because 2,000 credits is nothing to sneeze at. But she says, "No, I know Riddle's got her mindset on something. I appreciate it, but no, take the vote. You're gonna earn it just from."
All right.
What?
All right. Well, it's okay. I won't try to cripple her out. And if she hits me, I'll let her have one free hit. Okay.
Thanks.
If she
Means a
tries to
lot.
break me, I'm still gonna try and stay in over the race.
Right. I get
'Cause-
you. No, I expect no less. Just thanks for trying. And she'll come over and give you like a very, very quick, like maybe she's nervous that this is too much. But she'll give you a quick hug and then step back. And
it turns into a kiss if she doesn't recoil.
she doesn't recoil. She is surprised. I thought you and the block doc were.
Oh, come on, he's flavor of the week. You're one of my girls. I love you.
Thanks, Thorn.
You bet.
That means a lot.
Coming from you, sure does.
Cool. So now
Great.
you've got a goal. You have
I
to
do.
suck it up when your rival comes at you. Let's see how that's gonna
Mhm.
go. Though let's see, we've got. Does Trust have a goal? I don't know if we laid one out. for
Yep.
Trust.
I get 500 credits if I
That's
let
right.
the Tuscan win.
Let Karst. Let the Wookiee win. And we definitely have one for Jad, which is be the ping, basically be a ping salesman, spokes racer. And then Nedic. Do we have a goal for Nedic?
Show up the Tuscan.
Show up the Tuscan. There we go.
It's all right. Mine is actually to take out Mina to allow the Tuscan to win. Sort of. It's a little more.
Right.
Yes.
Take out Mina, which is fun. Right? Like, of course you're going to take out Mina anyway, because you're rivals. Good. All right. So we have goals for everybody. Thank you, Brandon, for asking us to circle back to make sure we have that rolled out. So we got Jag Cod ads. We got Nedic, show up rival. And we've got Trust, take out. Sweet. Let's jump to the race. There's a musical montage. People are getting their pod racers ready and they're being brought out like one little hover vehicles out to the race. And I'm just checking for time. Okay, so we've got like 43 minutes and I like to stop a little bit before our official end of time. We'll find out if we can do an entire 3-round race in that space. If we can't, we won't, and I'll mark it down as need to shorten up our story time or story mode. But also we did have character creation. So the racing mode. So there is a tab in the character keeper called Racing Mode Rules. A turn in Gravity Rip is a lap. A standard race, which we're doing, features 3 laps. What I would like from each of you is just think for a moment, what is one feature or hazard that you have heard about for this particular track here in Neon Quarter? And whoever's got the first idea, go ahead and speak up with a feature or a hazard of this particular track. It could be anything from hairpin turns to a particular beautiful part of the track where everyone's going to be staying. Or
I've got one.
Yeah.
There's power generation turrets that are used to light up the city to make it look really pretty, and it's used especially in this area for the track to be able to stay well lit and look exciting and have the right lights and all of that. But these are turrets like what we see. I think it's in episode 2 where they're driving by and it shocks them. They're driving the speeder bike through and it kind of shorts out. So these are turrets that if you get too close to them, they'll fry you. They'll give you a big jolt.
Nice.
They're like high tension lines. Yeah.
Awesome. I like that. Great.
Next one is there's a moment in the race where you actually dive into the constricted tunnels, like the main feeder for the sewer, and it's pretty straight, but it's really hard to pass. It's a straightaway, but it's very constrained for passing.
Nice. Of course, there's like a running meme that the constricted tunnels by the sewers are sponsored by Ping. There's constantly there are Ping employees who are trying to kill that meme.
And if I can add on to that area isn't on camera. It adds to the suspense of the race. So
like
basically, you pop in, and they're like, "Who knows who's going to come out?" And then
Oh,
all of a
wow.
sudden, the racers come out, and everything's exciting.
That's great. That's really, really good. Cool. Brandon, Darren, do you guys have
Yeah.
an idea of a feature or a hazard?
There is, I will say, there's a place called Crevice Park, which is a biosculpted park that is full of, is a spot normally for relaxation. It's been cleared for the race, and they're having part of it through the parkway, and it is full of bioengineered. It's basically bioengineered, trees and plant life and things like that. And so, so there are wild obstacles in this. I mean, just the wind. The wind blows these long, graceful willow branches that overlap. One of the treeways, and depending on the weather, the weather conditions, it is it can be a real dodge 'em thing not to get not to slam into a branch at high speed.
I like it.
But it is also just incredibly beautiful. I mean, it's just this incredibly lush green and purple, I imagine, setting.
Cool. Darren?
I was thinking of a feature is there's like a droid journalist that's like kind of hovers around and will occasionally pop up next to racers and try and do like a really split-second interview with them. And it's like kind of the unwritten rules. You're supposed to like keep your cool and answer the question instead of swatting away this droid that's talking to you while you're trying to drive your pod racer.
Oh my goodness. So it's basically a helicam that will like pop in and interview you at some point. Oh, that's so annoying. I love it.
Rich, I want to add in that in the park, the most logical place to drive through goes through a waterfall.
Oof.
The kind of the straightest, cleanest path that requires you to
Nice.
to go through a cascade.
I like that. Neon Quarters track is pretty dope. So I have, because I knew I had to roll a whole bunch of dice, I went through and randomly rolled for the starts. And Nedic, you start off in second. I'll just screen share so we're all looking at it together. But at the race start, and this does have a list of volts awarded. 16 and lower, you don't get a volt, but you get a little bit. And if you're last, you get nothing. If you crash, based on when you crash is your place. It is assumed that some people are going to be crashing. That's part of the fun. At the second, when the second lap starts, you have the ability to overclock. It's has a governor on it on your racer, so you cannot overclock in the first lap. We start off with Cash the Trandoshan has the pole position. I get to say pole position after playing it so many years ago. Punky and the Tuscan are in the middle of the front rows here, with Truss right behind the Tuscan. Jad, you're middle of the pack, literally. Thorn, you got the worst draw, and Riddle is right beside you. Like the two of you are literally lined up right beside each other. And Riddle's ride it's hot rod sleek. It looks more like a muscle car than your vehicle. But you also know that this has been handed down. Like this is the Razor's ride. They take a lot of pride in it. Cool. All right. So racing mode rules. We have a big announcer. He's not two-headed. It's regular human announcer. He calls out and he is announcing racers as they're coming into their position. So I think that the intro that we have for Nedic Kess is, and from Tatooine, popular pod racing circuit, we have the veritable unknown. What is this species? Agawa Nedic. And then we travel further down until we have. Is it really an Athorian behind all of that metal? Perhaps it's Truss. And then what kind of Jad Cod? Oh yeah, like starting. And we have in the Pingmobile, Jad Cod. And there's all kinds of jeering. Jad, and people are like, oh, it's the Pissmobile. But there's lots of pictures being taken. You can feel that money that you're going to get regardless of how you finish, probably, maybe, unless they have some kind of rider or some kind of side deal. And from the Razor Girls, riding the one and only Adrenaline, we have Thorn. And Thorn and Riddle gets like Thorn, you get way more pizzazz to your announcement than Riddle. Riddle's just, and also from the Razor Girls is Riddle the Chiss, because that's all she gets. And then there's the huge like hollow thing of the red, yellow, green, and boom, all the engines lurch forward, and you guys are headed directly towards the power generator turrets as the very first. Oh, Brandon, you had a thing?
So we're a team, presumably. Yes. So can we talk to each other during the race?
When you say we, who do you mean by we?
The player characters. So.
Yeah, you guys can chat. You can chat back and forth. There's like a channel. Right? There's a race channel.
Right.
Are you a team?
Are we a team?
I don't know. That's
pretty at odds with a couple of the other characters.
Yeah, I think we're out for ourselves.
Okay.
But I think there's totally a channel where you guys can chat with each other if you want. And I would like to, and I think that's a good wish to talk about, is like, do we want to angle towards that kind of stuff? So I think the game is designed for everybody for themselves.
Okay.
And I just went by that by default. Cool. So there are 3 choices in racing mode in the Helicam phase. So we start with the flying cam droid montage that quickly sums out how all your fortunes shift over the course of an entire lap. before we zoom out into the cockpit for maneuvers phase. So the helicam phase is there are a bunch of these helicams that are zipping along and getting angles of everybody. And of course, they see the ping come by. We see Nedic in her racer, and then of course the sleek Thorn bringing up the end. The three choices you can make is you can try and advance, which means you're pushing ahead through the pack. By the way, I'm just reading from racing mode rules, so I like to say stuff out loud, but also have people can read if they want. And you also have retreat, which means you're dropping back into a lower position, not very risky dropping back. Usually you would drop back if you want to deal with a rival, or if you have some other reason that you need to drop back, patch repair, something weird like that. Or hold. Hold is for someone that wants to keep their current position. So the hold uses your weight modifier. The advance uses your acceleration modifier, and then retreat has you can pretty much just like retreat wherever you want. Generally, like it's pretty easy. So we will start off at the top. Nedic, what would you like to do?
I'm going to hold and let everyone catch up to me.
Oh, that's cool. All right, so hold. Opting to hold and defend your position rather than advancing is a useful skill. Holding your position in a pinballing mess of machines is no easy feat, however. So you need to contend with the results of a pushback roll. So to hold, roll a d6 plus your weight modifier, also overclock, but overclock is not unlocked in the first lap. Then I will make a pushback roll. Yes, in this game, I have to roll dice. It's terrible, but it's only a d6.
So for me, my weight is a 2.
Mhm.
So I roll 1d6 plus 2. I need to do that. I got an 8.
Holy
got an
crap, that's
8.
awesome. So we're going to call this pushback for Nedic lap 1. And I got a 5. Okay. So if the result of the pushback roll is equal to or lower than your result, you successfully hold. The furious pack behind you is no match for your sublime domination of the course, and no competitors can penetrate your defenses. Nobody except this does, and this is Brandon, your question, like teammates can get past you on this lap. So that might be a thing we want to do between session 1 and session 2 is form up a couple teams. So there you go. You are able to hold. Congratulations. Next, we'll drop all the way down to so Punky Pollux and the Tuscan. I'm looking at time, and so I'm going to judge that those two, I'm not going to be rolling for them. They're just going to effectively be making hold maneuvers. So we'll jump straight to Truss.
Truss is going to retreat, trying to take position 16 right behind Mina.
Oh, nice. Okay. Retreating the easy way of Truss tracks and gravity or circuits. You can either use retreat to bring yourself alongside racers ahead of you. And I think you just do it. Like you.
Yeah. So do I?
What does that look like as Truss kind of pulls back to?
You know, if we're contending with these power generation circuits, I think where others are maybe taking more risky turns, Truss is you know, still learning how to fly, but is strategically letting other people pass until Mina gets right ahead of him, and then the sails just unfurl and like the circuits arc on the edges of them, and just it takes off right behind her.
Oh, that's awesome. And then that's just setting you up for your maneuver, which is probably going to be like a slam, I would imagine. That's going to be.
It's going to go so
or
well.
a block, or we'll see. It's going to be fun. Great. I love that. Jad, what would you like to do? Advance, retreat, hold.
I'm gonna try to advance.
I think that makes sense. All right. To advance, you're going to be rolling a d6 plus your acceleration. And then there's a pushback because you're in the middle of the pack here. So the pushback roll is people bumping, jostling, and trying to keep you from going ahead of them.
Oops.
That is a 3. Okay, we'll see how this goes for pushback for Jad. Okay, so a 5 is the pushback for you. The result of the pushback roll is higher than your result. You do not advance and remain in the position you started the lap in. Should another player or rival subsequently take your position, you're forced back 1 place. So you effectively fail to advance. And now we're going to scoot down to, yeah, I think Mina is going to it's like she's trying to advance. I mean, she's not going to worry about you, Trust. She thinks you're an idiot. So we'll deal with that when we get to maneuvers. Thorn, would you like to advance, hold, or retreat?
Advance.
All right.
I drew a low lottery number. I'm going to Thorn, at the beginning of the race, puffs on a tobacco stick and, flicks it carelessly out of the cockpit as she punches the on button. And then as the race starts up, she just, she turns the power ratchet up into the red line, into the red line. And,
Nice.
and the thing takes off like, this, it basically, it does a classic Star Wars thing, which is move from a sudden standstill to 500 miles an hour in an extremely short period of time.
Nice. Let's have you roll plus your acceleration, and then I'll do a pushback roll after that.
I'm getting spin.
Good luck. So it's a D6 plus.
Yes, I'm doing that. The roller is
It can be
tanking.
+2. All right. Come on, roller.
Let me just read the roller.
Okay.
See if I can. All right, there we go.
Huh. There we go. It says power out. It looks like you got a 4. Not. It's the middle of the road. Oh, what a pushback is a 3. So good news is that you will be making some advance. So here's how advance works. If the result of a pushback roll is equal to or lower than your result, you're free to advance. You must, however, make up the total of the pushback roll by sacrificing integrity and or positions gained in any combination you choose. So you rolled a 4. The pushback was a 3. The difference, there's basically 3 pushback. If you are willing to, and I don't know if you can, yeah, you've got enough. If you want to sacrifice 3 integrity, you can advance 4 positions forward. Or you can say, I take less than 4 positions. I'm willing to go. Basically,
isn't that
0 to
overclocking?
Oh, am I?
Burning integrity is overclocking.
No, this is
Advance.
That's overclocking is burning integrity ahead of time to add to your die roll.
Right.
Okay.
If you look on
which you
rows
can't do.
39 is basically column C, row 39 through 41. The result of the pushback roll is equal to or lower than your result. You're free to advance, which means you would move 4. However, you have to make up the total of the pushback roll by either sacrificing integrity or not taking all those positions. So how much integrity
this
are you
is what
giving
I'm
up?
so I'm going to pitch 2 integrity,
Okay.
and she's going to drive right under the pylons. Okay. So which means as she does it, she kills the engine just as she does. So momentum carries her through. Because
that's wild. You get electrocuted. We see your face kind of light up a little bit.
That way the racer engine doesn't get damaged. So she kills the thing, and the cockpit crackles, and then she shakes it off and slaps the power button again.
That's a cool move.
And so that's going to give me 3 advances that I bought off.
3?
So
okay.
yeah, because I bought off 2 of the pushback, So one of the pushback cancels an advance, and I get 3 advances out of it. Out of my 4.
Right. Yeah, because it's 3 you had to deal with, not 4. I was doing the math wrong. Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
Like I basically got 1 free because I beat the pushback by 1, and then it's a question of how much integrity I was holding. So
Sweet. So we
shortcut
have,
under the power thing, but it drains the power train a little bit. And if this power, and given my power train, if it goes to 0, the racer blows up.
yes, it does.
Because the adrenaline is held together by its powertrain. It is dynamic. It is a dynamically constructed racer. It's one of the reasons it's so beautiful.
Nice.
It is. It's not. If you turned it completely off, it would fall apart.
Cool. All right, let's jump to the dust and exhaust fumes, zooming in to focus on the individual machine-on-machine battles. So we start with the player in the highest position when the Helicam phase ended. At the end of the phase, we had Thorn in position. I'm just going to basically type it in. You're in 14 because you advanced 3 spots. We had Jad still in 10. We have Truss way down in 15. So we got to keep that in mind. And Nedic, you held at 2. I do realize I'm shortchanging my rivals, but I'm trying to burn through this so we at least have a good taste of it. And we'll have longer to stretch things out next session. So in movers phase, we zoom to the cockpit. The position your racer finds themselves, they scream towards the very end of the lap. There's overtake, block, and slam are the 3 types of maneuvers that govern battles in the maneuvers phase. So would you like to overtake, as my brain said, overtake, block, or slam Nedic?
So I don't want to overtake. Let's discuss what slam and block are. Slam would be hit someone and knock them out into a lower spot. Block would be prevent someone from coming up.
When you see, yes, block is you're rolling. Okay, both of them are weight related. And
slam is trying to is trying to damage another racer.
Yep. And just for story's sake, I would say that if you wanted to, the Tuscan is moving up. I don't know if you want to take out the Tuscan, but you could potentially try to do something against the Tuscan. Okay.
So let's do I guess a slam.
Okay. Then you're rolling a d6 plus the machine's weight modifier. Okay. Plus the machine's weight fire. The opponent rolls a d6 plus their weight modifier.
Who are you slamming?
The Tuscan.
Yeah.
The Tuscan has a weight of 1.
Okay.
So I'll be rolling the Tuscans.
So I'll roll this. I got a 6.
And I also got a 6. So what happens on a tied slam, on a successful roll, on a failed roll? Opponent, okay. The highest result is successful. So what does it say on a tie? Oh, surely. They always talk about ties and all the other pieces of the rules. Is there no
slam?
Failed roll. I'm very sorry, but I don't see a failed roll. Your opponent deflects or overwhelms your attack. Take -2 integrity damage. I'd say both is going to happen. It's so the losing machine takes -2 integrity damage, and you also take -2 integrity damage. So it seems fair.
Yeah, that
Both
sounds fair. That's
up.
much more exciting than what I was going to suggest, which is nothing. I like the, so basically what happens is Nedic, sees the Tuscan coming up and kind of chuckles a little bit, and then swoops and kind of does a loop-the-loop and then lands on top of him. But I think the Tuscan actually pulled off to the side, and that, knocked me off, my, what's it called? The cabin behind the engines. whatever that is. It knocked that off, and we see a
Hmm.
piece go flying off into the. Yeah.
Nice. Sweet. I think that Evish Tanwa, the Rhodian, actually ends up like getting hit by a piece of your metal.
Poor guy.
Yeah. So.
Okay, so it's like a side swipe.
Yep. Sweet. So you take some integrity damage, you lose that piece, and I think that the Tuscan, exactly. The Tuscan is unable to overtake you because you slammed him so hard. You see that his sleek little ride is kind of crimped in on a significant part. And let's move down to Jad Cod. You failed to advance. Do you now, as you see that, I don't think Mina's anywhere near you. The Tusca's moved up ahead. Punky Pollux is around. So which of the three moves would you like to take, Jad Cod? Slam, block, or overtake?
I'll try and overtake Arwen, the person in front of me.
Okay, that sounds good. Roll a d6 plus your acceleration modifier. The opponent rolls a d6 plus their weight modifier. And you're trying to overtake the person in front of you, which would be Arwen. And I'm just going to say that Arwen has a 0 weight. Did you get a 7? That's good.
Yes, sir. Yep.
And that is a 1. That is terrible. Did you juke, or did you just lit out and outspeed Arwen and pass them?
Yeah, I'm thinking he sort of like held back on acceleration and then darted out in front of her. Like darted, like went over her.
Sweet.
At an opportune moment.
Now you're in position 9. And now we will move to 14, which is Thorn, because Truss dropped back to 15. So you advance 3 spots, and now you get to make a maneuver choice.
So an overtake is just a single position, right?
Right.
Okay. Well, I'm not gonna, having drawn a low number, I'm not gonna win this race without powering.
Okay, so you're going to
Passed.
overtake?
Yes.
Go for it.
And so
And you would be going up against Trico Thegas. Trico's in a neon colored racer that is thumping with music. It just pulses. It's constantly on. And their weight is a 1. So that is a pitiful 3. Wow, I've rolled 1 2 times in a row. That is not good. You overtake. That is successfully going to move you up to spot 13.
from Thorn's dice rolls haven't been very good, so I'm just going to put in the thing that Thorn's you see it from Thorn's point of view for a moment, and you're seeing double images of the race cards ahead.
Uh-oh.
And she closes her eyes for a moment, grits her teeth, and she goes, "Not now, not now, God damn it."
Cool. And then we're gonna go to Truss because you're next in line. And then, even though I said most rivals aren't going to do a thing, Riddle's going to do a thing because it's story important. So let's see what you are doing, Truss.
So where is Truss in relationship now to Mina?
You said you successfully retreated to behind her. So yeah, you did that thing.
Okay.
That's no problem. She's watching. She's got her head on a swivel. But yeah.
So I imagine we're sort of doing like the whole she's trying to block me. And then I'm just gonna gun it right behind and slam her cockpit, trying to jump her up to the arc between her engines.
Nice.
Which is so good because I'm gonna roll -1 for my weight.
Wow, that's her rate. Her weight is
2.
Yeah, her weight is 2. This is the worst.
So
best
I got
ever.
a 1. This is not going to go well for me.
Oh goodness. Oh goodness. All right.
Ram
Nina
their
defending.
truck with my motorcycle.
Oh, Truss. I mean, you're a trooper. We admire that about you.
I have to at least give it a shot before
Oh, God,
I
that's-
before I
After
just
2
overtake everyone and decide that that's how I win. All right.
Okay, on a failed roll, your opponent deflects or overwhelms your attack. Take a -2 integrity damage. So I think
Okay.
what you just like lurched forward and slammed into the back of her pod racer. And I think what happens is she like flips a little protector for a toggle and flips a toggle switch, and you see a part of the back just like drop, and there's this super thick metal plate that you slam into. Yes, I'm stealing from a movie, but I don't care. It's not even a Star Wars movie, but it's fine. Yeah, you slam into it, and pieces of the front of your beautiful flower crack and fall off. And I think we have done all the PCs taking their maneuvers, so we'll do one rival maneuver, which is Riddle. She's followed you up through, and now she's going to try to slam you, Thorn, while you're dealing with whatever problems you've got in your head. She doesn't care. She just wants to hurt you. So we have a weight with slam, right? You roll plus weight, and her weight is flat, so she's going to roll 2d with no modifier. A 1, pitiful 1. Wow. Yeah. So you get to defend, which means that you are rolling plus your weight modifier.
And I did. I got a 3.
Okay, that's all you needed. You didn't roll great, but you rolled better than her, so you fail. So how do you deflect? How do you deflect this? And does
As I
she
said,
take -2
the
integrity?
adrenaline. I'm thinking of the adrenaline almost more and more. It's almost like, a freaking holo projection, as much as it is a racer. It's not nearly as solid as the rest of them. And as she tries to put on the nose, I grab and I jerk back a lever on one side, and the force field that holds it together just balloons out for a moment. And she caroms off of it like
Okay.
a bird hitting a window.
Now, she normally would take -2 integrity damage from failing to slam you. Are you letting that pass through? You'd have to make basically a roll to keep from her taking harm, failing to hurt you.
Yeah, I am actually going to try. Yeah, I'm going to try and catch the nose of her thing and push her off without damage. I'm gonna yank back the reactive field.
Cool.
So
let's say that this
so
is
that
an
she bounces.
impulsive roll. So let's have you roll make a chaos check. So you're going to roll lower than your chaos theory to try to pull that off.
And that
4. Sweet. So you like pull up she comes in for a slam, and adrenaline just separates and kind of isn't there. It's the art of no be there.
Right.
If anyone's watching Cobra Kai, it's the art of no be there.
Yeah.
And so what we're going to do, because of time, is we're going to finish up lap 1, make sure we've got everybody oriented to where they are in their places, and then we'll do stars and wishes. So I think because Kosh, the Trandoshan, is I'm not going to roll for everybody, so I think he just kind of stays in the lead at the end of lap 1, if that's okay with everybody else. Nedic, you are also where you were. I'm going to move Punky up a little bit because Evish is out of the race. So we're going to move Evish down to 20. Oh God, this is going to take forever. All right. I'm just moving. The Tuscan is up here. Trust you moved back. So.
Can we move the Tuscan up to like number 3 where I can hit him? Because
Oh,
that's
yeah,
what.
let's do that. That sounds
Yeah.
fun. Let's just have the Tuscan up here so you can hit him.
Yep.
Thank you for that suggestion. Yeah, I think 20 racers is too many racers. If we drop this to 10, sorry. Let me finish this because my brain will keep doing this stuff. All right. So we've got Aries. We're gonna move Arwen. Well, actually, let's see. She got you overtook her, so she's behind Jad. And I think we're just gonna put Jad's in 9, so we'll just put Jad there, and then we'll move Arwen here. Which means that maybe Mata's moved up and Court is moved up. And actually, I think we'll just have Jad and R1 move up 1 slot. I'm getting crazy now at this point. All right, have I done everybody? Senna here, Tico here. We have Truss was what, a spot? You're like a spot behind Mina, right?
Correct. I tried to slam Mina ahead of me, so she's in 14.
Okay, thank you. I'll just move Mina over there. And so Senna is up there. And I think Thorn, you've moved way up, so we'll just put you right there. And
No, I
Riddle-
was in 13th place.
Oh, you
So
were
I'm sorry, Thorn was in 13th.
13th. Okay.
Yep.
So Riddle tried to crash into you. So does that mean she's behind?
She can have gone ahead. I like the narrative fiction that in fact she tried to ram me. And I just
Ended up overtaking by accident.
and I basically, it's the racer split in 2 at the point where she was trying to attack, and she went right past.
Okay. And I'm going to declare that these 3 have crashed because it makes things faster and also makes things sound dangerous and terrible. And somehow I'm missing some people. So let's see. Vin, where did Vin go? I guess Vin fell way the hell back. Maybe he's having some trouble.
Poor Finn.
All right. Evish crashed. Aries there. Punky, Tuscan, Truss, Arwen. Yep. Mata, Court, Senna, Trico, Mina, Tankor.
I think
Tankor
Vonar
missed
is
one.
the
That's the
one.
one I was missing. All right.
Vonar is the one you have Tankor Tyson. You need
Ah,
Vonar.
Thank you.
Vonar has to be in there.
Vonar. Thank you, Vonar. The angry Zabrak has moved up here to where Tankor was. All
Moved
right.
up. Did not fail to crash.
Didn't crash. Yes, that's what's up. Sweet. We did 1 lap. And we are near time. If folks have time to stick around for stars and wishes, I'd love it. If you need to go in the next 4 minutes, please go first. We'll start with wishes so that we can end with stars. Who'd like to go first with wishes? Like if you need to go at noon, 1, whatever your time zone is at the hour, then please jump up and go first, starting off with wishes. All right, then it looks like nobody is super time sensitive. Who'd like to go? Who's got a wish burning? Wish can be, this is a thing I definitely want to see, which could be, I wish that this were a little clearer. Can we spend some more time on explaining this rule or aspect, or I wish the character keeper had X or Y. It would make it easier to track this race.
So I've got a few that I'll start with, and we can go in character keeper order or whatever. So I agree with what you said. 20's too many. I would suggest that, the people we really care about are the PCs and the rifles.
Mm-hmm.
And I would drop to that. Maybe add a couple. I think that any of the other racers could just be fodder.
I think that's what they're supposed to be, but like 20 is still too much fodder.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And you could probably speed some of this up. I don't know how you did the order or anything like that, the rolling a d20 or whatever, but you can use the random function. I'm not good with Excel, but
Mhm.
you
There is
could
a random.
probably get it to automatically random and put the different racers where you want them to be, like
That's a
assign
good-
each
that's a
one a
good
number
point.
and all that.
Yeah, like the ones that aren't rivals, I just hit random and it tells me of those spots. That's something I can definitely explore.
The other thing I had to say was I think this system seems super random. Like whenever you attack and all that kind of stuff, it's just a D6. It's a D6 plus 1 or 2, or a D6 minus 1 or something like that. I think that's there to indicate the randomness of this crazy sport, which makes sense. But on the other hand, you need to know that as a player going in that this is just going to be super random with the die rolls.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you, Stephen,
Yep.
for kind of voicing that. I think it'll help us all have a good context for the last 2 sessions. Appreciate it, Stephen. Who'd like to go next for wishes?
I can go next for wishes. Just to keep it in character keeper order, I guess. I would like to maybe have another thing added on the racers thing that's just like this race's goal. Because that's something we were just kind of throwing into our background or wherever it would fit, but we were all kind of aiming for something to hit in the race and just having that called out as a, what you're trying to achieve for this one that's not necessarily winning. And then the other one is I would love to have the story mode. I'd love to have more. I know we were just like kind of establishing characters, but more like time with another character.
Yes.
Yeah. That's it for me.
I'll go. Some of these are echoes of things that have already been said.
Okay.
One is that I want character interaction. In fact, I want teams. It does strongly imply that there are teams, not necessarily that all the PCs are on the same team, but it says, like Formula One, racing stars belong to racing teams.
Yep,
And
I
it's
agree.
great. It multiplies a number of things to care about. The randomness of 20 racers really bites hard in the initial setup, especially because start out at number 2, start out at number 17. To give a real life example here, it's a completely different race. Just by virtue of that initial D20. If you start far enough back, you might just spend the whole race catching up, which is now it's kind of unidimensional.
You're on mute.
Somebody saying something on mute?
No, anyway, it's kind of one dimensional. So cutting down the field from 20 would also help with that. And as we said, we care about the PCs and the rivals more than anything. I loved having stuff in the. So that's what I want.
Cool. Thank you, Brandon. And to answer that one wish, let us grant it. Guys, during the intervening week, figure out who, let's maybe roll a die. Let's just have 2 teams, right? We'll just have 2 teams. And so Nedic will be teamed with someone, Jad will be teamed, like each of you PC to PC teams is what we'll do. I think that'll be really helpful. And let's come to Dan. Oh, yes.
I'd like to point out, if we're going to talk about teams, right now we have some connections to gangs. Right? So we could potentially see about tying that in. So narratively, if I remember correctly, Brandon, you are a Razor Girl?
Absolutely.
And somebody is 66?
It's Truss.
Truss, yeah, is kind of, has purchased something from 66, yeah.
Yeah. So I think Jad and Nedic could then kind of go along. I think Nedic, for example, would not be a Razor Girl because I think that's where the Tuscan is from. Is that right?
No, the Tuscan 66 circle.
Okay, so then I'd probably align with Thorn against the Tuscan. Yeah.
Makes sense because Nedic is also female identified and Razor Girls don't.
Oh, yeah, true. Okay.
Yeah. And Thorn's very, eclectic with her friends.
Cool.
So
Trust and Jad,
she called
Trust and
Nedic
Jad,
Ned,
and
though.
Thorn and Nedic. Awesome.
She called Nedic Ned, though.
Darren, did you have any wishes?
Yeah, I kind of liked having some fodder in the race. So I think,
Okay.
maybe rivals and PCs, and then I don't know, like a few other people for
Yeah, I agree. Like I feel
like
like with 4
12.
PCs, it's like PCs plus rivals, that's 8, and then I don't know, 7 fodder. Like 15 feels like it wouldn't be too much. I think he wanted to use a D20 for a randomizer, and maybe that's, I don't know. Yeah. You like the fodder of NPCs?
And
Okay.
I would be willing to do the like where people are in round 2 and that kind of stuff on the spreadsheet. That's really easy for me.
Oh,
Just
cool.
to help you out, so you
Thank
can
you.
you can just keep the GMing, and I can just do the bookkeeping on that.
Thank you. I appreciate that offer. I will take advantage of that.
I thought of my own team name, Twin Suns, because I'm from Tatooine. I don't know.
There we go. Twin
maybe,
Suns.
like, I could be like sort of trying to get my own team together.
Fine.
I can see a rivalry forming because Nedic is probably going to win this race, and then Truss is going to go home to a poster on his window. So I could see where the team, we probably need to finish this race, but I can see where Truss and Jad might team up.
Yep.
Nice. And I'm trying to add in helicam and maneuvers so we have a little bit more. And I'm just going to move our crashed people over so that they're done. Cool. Let's circle back around. You went last for wishes. You could go first for stars. Is there any?
Can I comment on a couple of wishes?
Yes.
Another wish I thought of was I would like to see story play into the race. So I could see an advantage for position based off of the story that you just did to connect that to the race. Does that make any sense? So rather than it being random, it's just something to think about. Rather than the position being random, it could be based off of the story and the rolls that you've made during story.
Okay. Yeah, basically we fudge it so that rivals are near PCs and that kind of stuff. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just to make it feel a little bit less random. And to be honest, I struggled. I randomly got up at the top of the list, but there was nobody around me to interact with. So Rich, I'll skip that because that's a star.
Okay, cool. Sweet. Thank you for adding that. That's a good thought, Stephen. I'll think about it. Darren, did you have any stars you wanted to hand out?
Yeah, I mean, I really liked the character creation, and I thought people came up with interesting creative characters. I felt a little behind on that curve, but that was pretty cool. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. I'm really excited to play the rest of this race, and
Me too.
so on.
Cool. Thanks, Darren. Brandon, do you have any stars?
Yeah, no, I always like the genre feel of your games, and this one's no exception. The the end and the non-player characters and such. I really think the other PCs are interesting, which is why I want to to bounce off the rest of them, and then that ties in with someone's expressed wish that that story tangle its way into the racing, right? These races are fraught not just because of the numbers game of trying to win, but because of other considerations. I think the more messed up they are, the better the narrative is. So, and I think we have plenty of fodder for that.
Cool. Thanks, Brandon. Greg, any stars left that you wanted to call out?
I really enjoyed everyone's scenes. I love Jad's sponsorship with Ping Cola, and then just being completely exasperated that he had to lower himself to that because he really needs the money. And then the Block Doc and Thorn is interesting. Thorn just can't stop kissing everyone that they meet, and of course Steve and I love the poster, and I'm looking forward to Trust going back to it at home. So I just enjoyed all that. It was fun.
Thanks, Greg. And Stephen, did you have any stars you want to hand out?
Yeah. So like everyone said, I really enjoyed all the characters. They were very evocative, and I like the difference in the racers. I like getting to build those and see how they work. Adrenaline is just held together by a force field basically, and Morning Flower is super old, and Delta V was one in a bit. Those all make a lot of sense, and it's really cool. Um, 1 star for you was, I think you recognized that by random I was up at the top and there was no one to interact with, at least in this first lap. I hope that as we get through lap 2 and 3, we all kind of compress. But you moved up someone for me to interact with, which was great. And you know, I think it's a good idea not to have to roll for all of these people, or maybe just make a random die roll to see what Punky does, and this kind of stuff to kind of see where they are, because the focus really is on the PCs. Another star is, I don't know if this is important, but I noticed that Greg had highlighted where his integrity started out at, so I copied that real quick to make sure I don't lose track of where it is, because in a week I'll forget it. I like the idea of this podcasting game, and the shuffle that's going to end up happening, so that'll be really fun. And I already have like a couple of things. It was like ideas that I came up with. If I crash, I'm going to go back to writing just an engine, or I'm going to make a deal with a loan shark to get back on the track, right? So I'm really excited to see where this goes.
Cool. Me too. Just as a star, I'll throw out, because I saw it in chat, the hazards you guys came up with was like one of the most creative and exciting parts of this whole thing. I really, really liked that. I can't wait in future laps for us to hit those features, and I'm going to try to type them up so that we all have them as a cheat sheet deal.
I threw them on the racing page.
Oh, you
'cause I
did?
figured, well, when I saw we weren't
So
going to make all
smart.
the laps, I was like, okay.
Thank you. That's very helpful. I really appreciate that. Awesome. There they are. You're the best. Sweet. This is good. I'm excited for this. My only wish, I wish we could have gotten all the way through a race, but that said, we would have had to cut short. Like maybe I could have sped up the character creation, but I didn't want anybody to feel rushed. And I feel like actually story, I would have liked story to be a little longer. So I'm okay with how it is. Learning. I feel much more comfortable going into next session. I feel like we will definitely finish out this in the first half of the game, and then we can have story for the next, and then third session will be all race all the time or something like that. We'll figure it out. This is good.
I kind of feel like, to be honest, I kind of feel like whoever suggested the droid journalist, was that you, Darren?
Yeah.
That injects some of the story into the race, so we talk while we're racing, and I think that's really I think that's really cool.
Yeah, it's
Also
brilliant.
potential for black humor.
That's true. It's definitely potential for that too. I'm looking forward to, like, now I've got a chance to like think about the rivalries, and so I can have I need to name our sleuthing interviewer, so that they can stoke the fires of rivalries and other exciting things going on. It's good stuff. Thanks for giving this game a shot with me, friends. I can't wait until next week when we continue it. With this, I'll bring the recording to a close.